I'm going to do this video here on Frosty the Snowman and some of the wild changes I've been seeing in this character recently. Now, take a look at these examples and picture in your mind which one of these looks closest to the 1969 classic TV special of Frosty the Snowman. Now, I'll tell you that all of these are featured on trademark products of Frosty the Snowman. And, there's been different editions. There was a sequel, couple sequels, Frosty's Winter Wonderland, Frosty Returns, Frosty and Rudolph, but none of those really look like any of these pictures here. So these are all definitely modeled after the original Frosty the Snowman. Now, for me personally, I like this guy here. I mean, I thought he had something like holly in his hat, not this flower. It just seems unfamiliar to me. But he definitely had a scarf. I remember watching this maybe 10 years ago, seeing this just big amorphous snowball, thinking like, what's up with Frosty the Snowman? He looks so bare. It was because he was missing the scarf, and I couldn't figure out why it wasn't there. And I had no idea what the Mandela Effect was at that time. But yeah, that's a well-known Mandela Effect now. He's got no scarf. So actually, the one that's closest to what he is now is this one. I'm serious. Now, before you go running off and checking out pictures of Frosty the Snowman, stick with me here, because this is nuts. Now, a year ago, I thought about making a video, just showing Frosty the Snowman and the scarf and all the, residual evidence that suggests that he did have a scarf. So you can find all this trademark merchandise of products, and it shows him with a scarf, but that's weird. It's inconsistent. Like, you'll see pictures of him with different colored scarves, and he's never had a scarf like this in any of the TV programs. So he's most commonly depicted on products and merchandise wearing a scarf, and I would say yes, that's because he had one in the program. Now he doesn't. You watch that whole program, he never wears a scarf. And now you can see different colored scarves. Red and white. Red, that's what he should be. Green and orange. Black and red. This is weird. So this is what I was finding a year ago when I was looking through pictures of Frosty the Snowman. I like this one. A red band and holly in the hat. Now, comparing to what I see today, there's a whole new series of images that come up in my image searches that weren't there a year ago. So most often, Frosty does seem to be depicted as having a scarf. But that's actually what he looks like, which looks ridiculous to me. He's just lost a lot of his, charm and character, with losing so many of those accessories. Oh, this was interesting. A Frosty the Snowman plush and book combination. The book has Frosty with no scarf, and the plush has a scarf. So all these images, Frosty with scarves and plushes. Here's the original 1969 special where he comes to life. All right, now just let that sink in, and we'll come back to this again. Now, you were just, probably thinking about that hat that I showed you, but we'll get there, trust me. So here this product was, featured on a Facebook post, and I thought, yeah, that's the Frosty I remember. Something more like that. All right, now here is the image search that I started recently. I was just stunned looking at this. These products now feature Frosty the Snowman with a green hat. And the color of the flower keeps changing. I thought it was purple. I was pretty sure it was violet. I noted that. So that seems to be the correct color in that hat. But now it's changing. This is a blue scarf. Now, this product, look at him. He has a green hat. Frosty the Snowman has a green hat. And this supposedly is images from the original TV show. Does that look familiar to you? It sure doesn't look familiar to me. Green hat. Well, what about this? That, of course, does not look green at all. Of course, this scarf doesn't look right either. Neither does that scarf. He never wore a blue striped scarf or any scarf. until the sequel. This is what he looked like in the sequel, Frosty's Winter Wonderland, with the yellow and red striped scarf. He never wore a red scarf. And this is interesting. A darker color hat, which I like. An orange flower. The product has a gray hat and a blue flower. That's really weird. And look at this. Green hat, pink flower, Frosty's Winter Wonderland, a black hat, and a blue flower there. This is nuts. Now I'm also finding this. Frosty has a blue mouth, which he still doesn't in the TV show, but I'm finding more like images and plushes that have a blue mouth. Now here's a DVD combination of Frosty and the sequel. You know, you can see what he looks like there. No scarf. That hat looks gray. There he has a orange and red striped scarf. Here's another poster for Frosty's Winter Wonderland. That scarf is wrong. The flower's wrong. He doesn't wear a green and red scarf or a green and red flower. This is correct. I mean, there's so much inconsistency with depictions of Frosty. Here he has a green hat. Never seen that before. Here's the VHS cover for Frosty's Winter Wonderland. Green hat. There's Frosty and Rudolph. So he has like an orange hat and an orange and red striped scarf there. Still, I'm not familiar with that. Never saw those programs. Frosty Returns. He had a black hat and a polka dotted bow tie. That doesn't look like Frosty at all. Green hat. Nuts. What do you think about this green hat? Here's an original Frosty image. Should have that scarf. Here's a poster, a stand-up Frosty board. He's got the scarf. Okay, that looks right. You can see these trademarks on there. This one has a green and red scarf. That's not right at all. And here's Frosty Returns. Looks like a screen grab from the show, which I watched that too, and I don't remember seeing a green hat, but this one's green. And he's got this polka dotted bow tie. And I saw this image and I was like, what? Why does Frosty have a green hat? And these products are so inconsistent. Blue scarf. Red scarf. Seriously, what's going on with Frosty the Snowman? Blue scarf. Never had a blue scarf. And I like this inflatable lawn decoration. The Frosty inflatable has a scarf, red scarf, and he plays images from the TV show with no scarf. Wild. Green hat, which he's never had in my reality. Image results for plush dolls. Blue hat, blue scarf. Blue scarf. What is going on? How can you even market this as Frosty the Snowman? He's never had a blue scarf. There might actually be some folks out there who do remember a blue scarf. If you do, let me know in the comments. Now look at this. Frosty the Snowman, green hat, red bow tie. This is nuts. I've never seen this before. No way does Frosty the Snowman have a red bow tie. But, you know, stuff like this is changing. Donald Duck has a red bow tie now. It used to be like a sailor scarf. So these scarves are being replaced with bow ties. Who knows? We might see more and more of these products and images with red bow ties and green hats on Frosty, which is wrong. All right, so here's a screen grab from the original. You still probably, wince and look at the hat and say it's gray. But let's take a closer look. So I opened up my image editor just to, get an analysis of what color is this. There you can see the number. It sure looks like a forest green to me. So it is in that green spectrum for sure. Frosty does indeed wear a green hat. Dark muted shade of cayenne or dark grayish green. No way. Are we in like a blended version of reality right now? Or is the hat transitioning into green? It was black for me before, then it turned this lighter gray, and now it's like this blending between gray and green. So that product had a screen grab of Frosty, and you can see the comparison between the last color and this color. That's even more distinctly green. What do you think about this? This is new. I've never seen this before. 0 depictions in my reality previously of a green colored hat on Frosty the Snowman. No way. So this product, I mean, it looks gray. You can see the comparison now between that hat and the one we just saw. A distinct gray versus a distinct green. You can see these figurines, green hat, blue mouth. I'm seeing more of these blue mouths now on plush dolls. What do you think about this? All right, now I'm going to go on to what ChatGPT actually told me, because I just want to know, okay, what does ChatGPT say about Frosty's, appearance and apparel?
Sure. Here is a clean, complete description of Frosty the Snowman as he appears in the classic 1969 Rankin-based TV special, with no extra assumptions. Frosty's appearance: hat, a black top hat with a red hatband decorated with green holly leaves and red berries. Scarf, a red scarf wrapped around his neck. Body, 3 white snowballs. Face, coal eyes, a coal smile, a carrot nose. Buttons, 3 black coal buttons. Arms, brown stick arms. Feet, no shoes. He stands directly on the snow. That's it. No jacket, no gloves, no boots. Just the hat and scarf as clothing. If you'd like, I can also describe how he looks in the original 1950 song lyrics, or how his design differs in later sequels.
All right, so that one just described basically this image. It said carrot nose, which is incorrect, but still, I'm so surprised that it's picking out what I remember. I mean, this is actually the only image that I could find of a real-looking Frosty the Snowman from the 1969 TV special that had holly on the hat. Why is ChatGPT picking this out? I didn't prompt it with any other descriptions or conversations about Frosty the Snowman. It just picks this out of nowhere. I mean, this is crazy because it almost seems like it's reading my mind, knowing what I remember. Frosty the Snowman had holly in his hat, a red scarf, and I mean, this is crazy. I mean, why didn't it pick out any of these other descriptions? Why did it pick out the one that I remember most vividly? And this is common when you engage with AI. It seems to be anchored to the reality you remember that you experienced, and then it tries to incorporate the new version into its responses, but I could not get a straight answer from ChatGPT about how Frosty looks today. It kept getting it wrong over and over and over again, and I didn't want to prompt it or tell it what was wrong about its description. Usually by the second time it gets the right answer. It could not figure out Frosty the Snowman and how he looked in the original TV show. This is weird. So let me know what you think about this. Do you see this as, a wild influx of new changes with this character like I do? Let me know in the comments. Thanks.